So my name is Mykola Latansky. I'm coming from Ukraine, but in the last time I'm very rare home because I'm traveling a lot. I consider myself the first Russian-speaking motivational speaker, and 4 years ago when I started, this profession didn't exist in that part of the world. 4 years ago I started. Last year I made $500,000. In a little bit more than 3 years in business and on the Russian-speaking market, which is much, much poorer as the market in West Europe or in the US or Canada, as you can imagine. It wasn't that great before. The year 2009, I made only 60,000, only. The year 2008, I made 43,000. And when I started, that year, 2007, I only made $5,000. What we see right now going in our business and my business, I mean, we, meaning me, myself and my team, this year, we will most likely achieve $1,200,000 in the speaking, coaching, and training business. Would you like to know what makes me successful?
Yes, please.
Thank you. That's what I was imagining. And I tell you a few more facts. In these few years, I have developed 5 educational programs, lasting from 2 days workshop up to 1 year online program. A year ago, in April 2010, I had a workshop with 18 people from 2 countries. I'm coming back home in Kiev, which is the capital of Ukraine, next week, and I'm holding a workshop for 250 people, 4 days, from over 15 countries, flying all over the world. They want to know why they choose me and fly from every possible places in the world in the Kiev. I don't know for sure what makes all these numbers, but I'm pretty sure there is one of the success laws I'm using since few years, which makes all this success. And a few more facts. My rooms now, on average, are 200 people worldwide, and I'm conducting seminars and workshops at the moment in over 30 countries on 4 continents. This is in under 4 years. I said I will be telling you 5 keys to success, or 5 strategies of success, and then I thought I only have 20 minutes, so I will be focusing on only 1 law of success. I promise you, if you follow the secret formula I share with you today, you will be able to double, triple, or quadruple your income in the next 3 to 6 months. Are you interested in that? Yes. Good. And now, many people think they are the center of the universe. And the universe is moving and rotating around them. Do you know that kind of people? But the truth is, we all are the part of this living organism called the universe. And this living organism has its own rules and laws. And the truth is, if you know the rules, if you respect them, and most importantly, if you follow them, the whole universe picks you up and puts you in the flow where success comes effortlessly. Most people struggle in life and in business only because they do not know the laws of the universe, they disrespect them, and they don't follow them. And for me, the success is very, very, very easy. The only thing you need to do is to understand the know. You don't really need to understand the laws of the universe. You just need to know them and follow them. In 1884, Edwin Abbott wrote a novel about the flatland. And the moral of this novel, The Flatland, it was that there was a land where only 2-dimensional figures were living. Triangles, quadrants, octagons, and their circles. And they didn't want to believe there is a third dimension, which is up and down, where the big balls were living. They didn't want to know this because they didn't understand how healthcare can be. But the point is, if you don't understand something right now, it doesn't mean that this doesn't exist. Let's speak what's the reality of their speaking business right now. What I can see traveling the world around, meeting different speakers, being in the room, listening to speakers on stage, I can tell you that most speakers concentrate on presentation skills instead of developing their human skills. This is one of the reasons, and forgive me, Toastmasters, if you are in the room. Actually, I'm a lifelong sponsor of Toastmasters community for the whole country, Ukraine, but this is the reason why most of the Toastmasters never did to the big stage, because they perform, they develop their presentation skills, they play on their stage, but nobody believes them. And many speakers try too hard to be someone and to impress others instead of being themselves, and let the success flow into their lives easily. And actually, to be true, I may have become one of them if I didn't met my mentor, Jack Canfield, a few years ago. And when I arrived to my first training with him in 2007 in Scottsdale, Arizona, me being raised in the Soviet Union and understanding what celebrity should be, I was so much surprised, shocked, and stressed seeing celebrity in my perception, speaking easily and freely about as a human, about his problems with his wife, about problems with his son, and many, many, many others. I was so much shocked seeing the star on the stage speaking easily about himself as a normal human. And at the same time, I caught myself in the thoughts that this was exactly what pulled me to him. And later, I discovered one of the most important laws of success, which Jack is the real authority in the world, and I, to myself, also the authority for the Russian-speaking world, because almost every trainers in the Russian-speaking world, it means the whole world, people who speak Russian would say that Latansky, which is my last name, is one of the most transparent person in this speaking and training business. The law of transparency says, if you are transparent, it means if you are real, if you are sincere, you, of course, become vulnerable. But becoming vulnerable, we create the intimacy between us. Intimacy leads to trust. A trust is actually what people always looking for if they are looking for a business partner, for a supplier, or a friend. Trust ultimately leads to business and friendship. And to support this law, I want to tell you a short story which my friend, one of the most famous psychotherapists in the former Soviet Union, Vladimir Inzhil, told me once. He used to be a military in Afghanistan. And he asked a group once, what do you think was the biggest shock for all Soviet soldiers coming back home? What do you think, by the way? What is the biggest shock for military, for the warriors when they come home? Actually, I asked the question for 2 years in a row, and nobody so far gave me the right answer. Any suggestions? Any ideas? Nothing changed. People say there are no explosions anymore, there are no tanks in the streets, but The truth is, as Vladimir told me, when people came back home from the war, and when they were walking on the streets of the of their hometowns, home villages, they were never seeing real people. What they were seeing, they were masks, and it tries to impress others by being someone but not themselves. And you have to understand that not being yourself, not being real, requires a lot of energy. It looks like if you were playing with a ball in the water and were trying to put the ball under the water. What happens? The ball ultimately tries to pop up out of the water, right? And if you have to hide something, the more you have to hide something, the more balls under the water you have to suppress. And this also means that you have no more energy to live and to succeed in business if you too much hide who you really are. As one of my teachers, Harold Waskin, says, to be yourself, you don't need to spend any energy. To be yourself just means to be. One of my friends and business partner, Jim Bunch, says, the truth is the truth. And it's better to know it than to pretend not knowing it. The most important thing is when we lie, it means when we pretend to be somebody we are not, we lie. And first of all, we lie to whom? To ourselves. And when we're true, when we're sincere, when we're transparent, first of all, we tell the truth to ourselves. And when we tell the truth to ourselves, we got what? We got the chance to do something with the truth and get rid of what we don't like about ourselves. It's all about energy. And it's all about vibrations. When we true, when we sincere, when we the way we are inside, the law of attraction starts to work. We expand and we attract nice opportunities, nice people, resources, ideas into our life. And why are there so few transparent people around? And by the way, you may disagree, but this is my truth. This is what I observe traveling the world around in Europe, in the US, in Ukraine, or in Russia, or in Kazakhstan. The people, first of all, most of them don't like the way they really are, and they don't want to see the truth. People don't want to be rejected, and people think they will lose their credibility. Now, in the last few minutes which I have for this presentation, I will tell you how I do apply, consciously apply, the law of transparency in my business. Would you like to know? Thank you. There are some ways to apply the transparency in your business. In all your speeches, seminars, and workshops, when I'm doing a speech and when I'm doing a workshop, I consciously and intentionally tell the truth about myself, which for 99.9% of the trainers, speakers would be shocking. But every time I tell the truth about myself, I have enrollment in my other programs. And it's normally for me to have 100% enrollment in my seminars for my other programs. Interviews, articles, and blogs is a good way to show who you are inside. Podcasting, the easiest way I found to show yourself, to present yourself the way you really are, through podcasting, through audio podcasting and video podcasting. I used to record audio podcast for 5.5 months every single day. Later, I switched to video, and I now have over 80 YouTube videos from all over the world, telling the truth about myself and sharing some success secrets. But what I found when I started to do podcasting, I started because I wanted to share the knowledge I have, the wisdom I have. I needed to empty up myself to get a new knowledge in. When I found out, people came to my seminars in big numbers, and they all were telling, I were listening to your podcasts. I was listening to you, and after a few weeks I realized I know you. So I wanted to know you better, and I wanted to learn from you. One of the most important ways we promote our business today is through video podcasting. Social media, you have to be real on Facebook and Twitter, because if you pretend to be someone, one day people will learn who you really are. And in everyday conversation, and especially with people important to you, if we lie, if we pretend to be someone we are not are, you think people won't realize this? If not consciously or subconsciously, people will feel it on a vibrational level. These are the podcasts we are doing in Arizona, in Cologne, Germany, in Kazakhstan, in Santa Monica, LA, in Poland, in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, from one of the workshops in LA. Wherever I travel, I stay in front of the camera the way I am. I record myself, and this brings hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people into my rooms. Number one success laws for me, for my business, is to be who you are. If you don't like who you are, what most people do, only when you're true to yourself, you get the chance to change yourself. I heard once a very quite famous person in the US saying, "Don't speak of wounds still bleeding." She said, in this professional speaker business, we don't speak about the wound still bleeding. And I absolutely sure. If you don't speak what's going on in your mind, what's going on in your heart, people still will feel it. So you better speak. And closing up this presentation, I want to tell you a few more things, which are the benefits of being transparent. First of all, if you try, I know it's easy to be transparent, but at the same time, it's very, very difficult. But when you start, you soon realize you can't live in another way, because it's so much easier to live the way you are, who you are, because you don't need to spend any extra energy. So becoming transparent, you will get significantly more money. And I told you at the beginning. You will have better emotional and physical health. And you will have much more energy. You will have a healthier relationship with family, with friends and co-workers. You will meet phenomenal people. You will get the opportunities, resources, and ideas. They will flow, literally flow into your life. And you will be growing as a person much more faster. Your brand value will increase as a speaker. And people will recommend you because they trust you. And as I said, you won't need to look for a speaking engagement again, because people will be looking after you. People want to work with real people, not the mask. Be transparent, be real, and be yourself. That's what I wanted to tell you today. Thank you.